It's like I feel like I'm in two timelines.
Mm-hmm. So you could select one.
Okay. So I feel like there's some type of responsibility for nature, and that, you know, nature is being butchered and chopped down, and
yes, continue.
it's like two mergings.
Yes, pick one.
Like I feel like there's this energy around trees and them getting chopped down for like commercialism and life and greed.
Yes.
And then there's kind of this responsibility around like the nature spirits. So you have to protect the trees and all the nature spirits.
Yes.
At least I feel this obligation. And then there's this other energy that I think has to do with my hands, but that about being like a witch or a medicine woman. It's all feminine.
Yes. So I want you to dive
using
deeper.
nature as like a healing modality, and then
Drop deeper into this.
yeah,
Just drop deeper.
I have like too many things going in.
Just feel yourself sink in. And look out through the eyes of this personality, this woman. Yes. What's happening? Yes.
I feel like I'm being poisoned.
Yes. Notice what's poisoning you. Yes.
Chemicals.
Yes.
Like I'm being poisoned.
Look at your body. What do you look like there?
It's like a merging. Like 1 minute I feel like a tree,
Yes.
like a redwood tree, and then I feel like a person. It's like keeps merging.
That's okay. That's okay. Notice what is poisoning you.
Chemicals. So it's like with the chemicals, like
Yes.
it's interesting. It's like the poison chemicals that we eat in our foods that's poisoning our gut.
Yes.
And then there's like the poison, I'm seeing chemicals being sprayed on trees
Yes.
to kill the trees because they're so powerful and
Yes.
strong.
Yes. Yes. Continue. What happens next?
Also defender, this very Joan of Arc kind of energy,
Yes.
defending the underdog.
Yes.
But it's like the plants and the trees.
Yes. What happens next? Yes.
So funny.
Yes. Continue.
I just feel like poison's going down my throat into my stomach, and it's sitting there.
Yes. Notice what it's doing as it's sitting there.
It's like destroying my gut, destroying my body.
Yes. And notice how you're physically reacting to all of this.
Well, I'm confused because I'm either a person or a tree or both.
Doesn't matter. You're a being.
I'm a being that's being poisoned.
Yes. Yes. Continue. What happens next?
I'm just experiencing poison in the air, poison in the body,
Yes.
poisons.
Yes. And notice your emotional reactions when this is happening. What's happening?
I'm very upset.
Yes.
Like, how could this be happening?
Yes. What's your mental reaction?
No caring. I mean, zero caring. Like cutting down all these trees to make like apartment complex or something.
Yes. So how are you reacting mentally?
What can I do about it? I'm only one person. I'm just a small person.
Yes.
No one's going to believe me.
Yes. Yes. What
Oh,
happens?
it's so confusing.
That's okay. I don't want you to use any logic. What's happening next? What's happening to your body?
we're being poisoned.
Yes.
We're being poisoned in the air we breathe, the water that's around us, the food that we're eating.
Yes.
It's all poison, and it's destroying us from the inside.
Yes.
And it's like a slow process, so it's not very quick.
Yes.
And because we're such an unconscious reality, we're not really recognizing that we're being poisoned.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Continue. Accelerate a little bit more. What happens next?
First of all, there's no appreciation for nature on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I guess indirectly, there's no appreciation for the persons who don't appreciate the nature.
Yes.
That we're just living in a fast-paced, unconscious world.
Yes. And this experience of you being poisoned, what is the learning process about all of this? What are you learning from it?
What am I learning from it? Something outside of me is affecting what's within me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there's diabolical reasons or measures for it to be happening.
Yes.
And I'm trying to, this person
Mm-hmm.
is trying to transmute it,
Yes.
but the poisons are too toxic.
Yes.
And there needs to be a registry of it, because I need to understand that it's happening.
Yes.
I also need to be somebody who's going to say something about it.
Yes. Very good. What happens next?
It's more injustice.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And it's injustice, and then it's a world that doesn't want to show up. That they're all about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pattern here. It's always about like themselves
Yes.
and not about others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's paradoxical here, because this person needs to focus more on herself and less on others, and the world needs to focus less on themselves and more on other. She needs to focus more on herself, and others need to focus more on the individual.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
very confusing.
Mm-hmm. So this experience of being poisoned, how has this now affected the life as Carrie?
It's gotten to be way too much, and she's pulling the energies.
Yes.
Because a lot of these energies, and she's spoken about this before, many of the energies, you know, she like several others are transmuting. Nature is trying to do their best to transmute these energies, but the toxins are coming in too fast and too heavy.
Yes.
And then with the present circumstances in the world, with these vaccinations, just the components, because many of these components are actually airborne, but not in the way that people are afraid of. Mm-hmm. Like, they're afraid of getting it. Well, it's too late. Everybody gets it. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody gets it. You breathe the air. The air that you breathe is the same air that's been breathed, generations ago. It's all in there.
Yes.
But it's getting to be too much.
Yes.
It's too much, and too few are doing the work for too many.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just getting to be too much. And people need to awaken and become conscious of what's going on within themselves, around themselves, and they also have to stop being co-participants to the sleeping ones.
Yes. And how is it that those that are sleeping are being detrimental to all of us?
Albert Einstein talked about the person who commits the crime is one person, but the people who stand around them and allow it to happen is the bigger crime.
Yes.
Not sure I said it the way he said it, but that's the way I'm saying it.
Yes.
And so these unconscious people are allowing crimes to happen, and they're allowing them to happen to their own selves, to their children.
Yes. Yes.
Children, I mean, children are also coming in with a high frequency, trying to transmute this very thick, dark, dense energy. And these higher up, quote, beings, know that these children are powerful, and that's why they're trying to harm the children, to lower their frequency.
Yes. Yes.
And so when people are, quote, asleep, they're not asking questions, they're not aware of what's going on, and they're doing things that are harmful to themselves and others. And they're not doing it, like, many of them are not doing it purposely, but not being aware of what's going on is purposeful.
Yes. So what is the message here for Carrie? What does she need to do? Is she trying to take on too much on herself? Is this what's happening with her body? Feeling stuck?
Yeah, I mean, in normal circumstances, I mean, what she doesn't realize is that in normal circumstances, she just would have expired by now.
Yes.
And if she was, quote, a typical human, she just would have expired. I mean, her organs and her whole system and her blood, the level of toxins she's, transmuting, just wouldn't be able to be dealt with a human body.
Yes.
And then when she thinks she's operating like a human, she's just very harsh on herself.
Yes.
And
so what is the purpose of her being here? Is it to transmute?
There's also, she has this sense of responsibility from way back when planets were it's like we want to give her details, but then she'll get stuck in the details, and the details in the past lives present lives, parallel lives, don't really matter. I mean, what happened in Atlantis and Lemuria is very important, but the details don't matter. They don't matter. Things happen not as planned, and it's imprinted, and then it oh gosh.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So how are those imprints affecting everyone?
She doesn't have a language because she's not a gamer.
Yes.
But the game has progressed to an advanced status. And I'm going to think about how to say it because she doesn't have a language to say it. She understands because she's part of it, even though she doesn't think she is.
Yes.
Which is so funny to us. But when people are unaware, when they don't have the awareness, but that yet they're making choices of a higher frequency vibration, it affects the multiverse magnanimously.
Okay.
So she's making choices all the time with little to no consciousness of the benefits.
Yes.
And there is huge power in that. She's just so hard on herself. She just always feels like she has to do it alone, and she always has to do it impeccably.
Yes.
And what if she was doing it impeccably? She wouldn't even give herself the credit to even think she was.
Yes. So all of these things that she's come here with, feeling that she has no friends, that she's terrified of being seen, this perfectionist. What is all of this having to do with what she's doing now?
We know we talked about it's lonely at the top, but that's really not enough for her. It's really not enough for anybody at this time.
Yes.
Those few, let's speak in terms of how she perceives reality, because she's always looking for the archetypes outside of her.
Yes.
So let's talk about in this world of superheroes, which she loves to talk about so much. So these characters, they live very lonely experiences. They can't have that they choose They might not realize they choose, but they choose to sacrifice so much for the good of all. So let's use this proverbial Batman character, right, that experienced tremendous loss, and yet he might have financial means, and some people could, you know, look at that as a benefit. But you could have all the means in the world. They're not going to bring his dead parents back. And you could have all the means in the world, but he can't have a healthy relationship with a partner and a family. And so, you know, these, quote, superheroes, quote, you know, in the world, they can't have a normal existence because they have devoted their lives to the greater good of all. And that's in all these characters. That's why she's so connected to them. She also has this incredible compassion towards the people who do cause harm, because she knows that no one is born to commit harm, that something has happened to them for them to cause harm. And that's why she's trying to bring compassion and awareness. What has caused her some trouble is that she thinks she could do something about it.
Yes.
And even these superheroes characters, they think they could do something about it, but they really can't. How many bad guys can you take out? You know, how many sacrifices can you make? How many punches can you throw? You can't. You can't. She's learning now that you can only be the example. You can only be the example and hope. Oh, okay. Being the example just seems to undermine an extremely large multi-dimensional process, because being the example shifts energies, codes. It's way more advanced than that. But showing up in a certain way and making good choices. I want to use the word kind, but no. Good choices. Trying to think how it needs to be said. We've said this to you before, Alba, the last time that we spoke, thank you, is that oh, can't say that again now. Sorry, can't say that. There's things that I would like to say, but it's not time to say.
Okay.
One of the reasons things are taking so long is that there's a frequency / consciousness, like, for people to choose what's right over greed, materialism, ego, status, just doing what's right,
yes.
The next right thing. And unfortunately, the way that the world has become, it's everything but that. And so that's what's becoming so convoluted. So let's bring up the fact of what happened in the award show the other night, where, you know, somebody, quote, did something wrong, hurtful, maybe not just, but is it what happens in that moment or the trickles of what happens thereafter? The awareness, the acknowledgement of wrong, the acknowledgement of this, you know, concept called abuse. What does abuse look like? Looking at, you know, the childhood of the person who committed the abuse and how it affects that person. So sometimes there are events that happen that have ripples, and then those ripples awaken others to make better choices, not just about gossip. You know, people can gossip and they can talk about circumstances, but it's those that actually want to make the change, want to do, like, look within themselves.
Yes.
That's what I can say. So, and also to be self-empowered, self-governed by themselves, to connect to the parts of themselves. And this young lady here, she's been loyal to an ancestral line that we placed her, she placed her, self in. So she's been loyal to that, and that's how it's worked. But she hasn't been loyal to herself. And so intergenerationally, there's been a loyalty to the line, and now we have to be loyal to ourselves without harming other selves.
So one of the things that Carrie brought to me is that she has these relationships, and it could be friendship, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be anything, but she's always the one caring, giving, and all of a sudden everything dissipates, everything falls apart. Is this part of a program, or is this something that she's learning from? What is the reason for this? She's
not a traditional soul. So most people learn through programs, you know, like traditional ways, but she's not doing things traditionally. She's doing things en masse. So she's not a traditional person. And when she goes to look for traditional people to get traditional answers, she's not going to find them. And that's where I think she gets agitated, because she has this all-knowing within her, but she's looking outside of her. You know, she has a very, very challenging path, because most people have like teachers or advisors, and she's really making choices in the dark all the time. And which is an advanced soul, and that advanced soul needs to be respected and honored and appreciated, which she needs to, you know, we can only hope to do more of. So there was a process where she knew that she was going to be experiencing extremes. So she was experiencing, I mean, as per what was discussed before with betrayal with people she loved. You know, just because, you know, it's like there's these traditional systems at play, and then there's like new consciousness coming in. So for example, like there's programs that says your mother and your father are supposed to love you, appreciate you. Well, her parents did not follow that program. So she could have emulated what was shown to her, or she could have completely saw what was shown to her and do it different, and made choices differently, which she has. Okay, that's where there's an evolution. Not to repeat what was done, but to pull from within yourself of what you feel is right and act from that place. And she's done this phenomenal job doing it. It is extremely challenging to be a loving, present mother, friend, partner, while you're, sorry to say it out loud like this, but getting your ass kicked. So there's something very powerful about, she knows the power of compassion, and she knows the power of love, and it's kind of like a trifecta. She's like bringing in love, light, compassion, all at once. So, and then the problem is that, I mean, she's only had a limited amount of awareness, and she knows this, that I am going to validate her. There has been a timeline, and many timelines have been delayed. And so because these timelines have been delayed, things have been taking a long time. So even today she's saying, but it's been so long, it's been so long. And it's true. If you're an astronaut who thinks you're going to go into space alone for 5 years, and it ends up being, you know, 25 years, I mean, it gets wearing. If you choose to come in to have a human experience, I mean, she's having a human experience. That's what's so challenging. If she was connected to her multidimensional being self, it would be so easy. But it's not, and that's where the challenges are. So if she doesn't have access to her gifts, so she doesn't have access to the information she has, she's living in an inverted reality. It's like we talked about the last time about you know, the Rubik's Cube, this like 4-sided Rubik's Cube that keeps moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. It's very, very challenging. And what's really important is just this self-awareness and this you know, you go back to this self-love. And self-love isn't like going into the bathtub, you know, with bath beads. That's very helpful. But self-love sometimes could be a moment-by-moment basis where, you know, you're doing hard things no matter, you know, if anybody knows it or not.
Yes.
And that's also like this definition of integrity. You know, like she's always talking about people being in integrity, but there's an integrity to self also.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this is, I'm only giving you bits and bites of a very large experience, but so, you know, it's like she's living this extreme polarity. So she has all these, she used to always think that, like, to her, love is everything. Mm-hmm. And the love that she's even allowed to connect to, because there's a multi-dimensional level of love that she doesn't have that her vessel hasn't been given a language for now. Mm-hmm. So she feels it and knows it, but she can't express it.
Yes.
And so, but the power is less about, like, she's constantly experiencing the lack of love, as a test, a very, very challenging test of like, will she become them?
Yes.
Will she will she stop loving?
Mm-hmm.
Or will she find ways to embody more love?
Yes.
And it's very, very, very hard. And then there's many outside forces at play and a lack of awareness, consciousness. Her physical vessel is weak. She's burning.
Yes. Let's talk about her physical vessel. What is going on with this fluid retention that she has?
Oh, she hates that.
Yeah, what is that? What's that coming from?
Well, many people on the planet are experiencing fluid retention.
Yes. Where's that coming
from? For women, it's sensitive. So a lot of the light codes you need to have extra water in the body to hold these light codes. So for example, solar flares have been released this week and they're very high energy. So if you don't have water, if you don't have the fluid, the water, there's nothing to hold the codes. And it also, the intensity of the heat will burn up the body.
Wow, okay.
So there is this like protection. I mean, there are many layers here because she is dealing with, you know, she's extremely empathic, so she's getting psychically attacked all the time. There's protection.
Yes.
Then the sexual abuse, you know, there's protection. But for now, this excess of fluid.
So it's a good thing right now.
It's a good thing, but she's not going to be happy that I just said that, because she's, you know, feeling very insecure. She looks in her eyes, her kidneys aren't working properly. There's fluid in her face, there's fluid in her body, thyroid's not working properly. And then you live in this vain world where how you look, okay, is so important.
Yes.
And in this world, I mean, you have to do all these procedures in order to look in this perfectionistic way. So that's something she's going to have to work on. Again, you know, more self-love, more self-appreciation, more self-honoring, and know that this is temporary.
Okay. So what is the numbness in the hands all about? Is this coming from the tree experience? What is that? Let's do a scan on this body. Focusing in on the hands, the liver, the brain, the spleen.
Disaster.
Tell me about that. What does that mean, that disaster? Yes. Is she picking up from something else?
Oh, absolutely.
Where is it coming from?
She's in a constant state of clearing. I'm also trying to... Okay.
Yes.
Well, the hands are separate.
All right. Let's start with the internal organs. What's going on?
Unfortunately, the resources that she needs, or that are needed at this time in order to transmute effectively, she just can't seem to stabilize. This is just an extreme time. I mean, there needs to be more faith. She needs to have more faith and understanding that this isn't the best time. This isn't playtime. This isn't playtime for her. So things aren't working the way that they should, because as you probably know, Alba, this is the lifetime where people need to die in their bodies, in their physical bodies. You shared so nicely about the story of, dying in order to awaken to another aspect of yourself, which she understands as well.
Yes.
But this has to do with the physical body. So energetically, we can shift and change, but our physical bodies, need to be altered in a very delicate way.
Very good.
Because if too much energy comes in, you can implode. If too many things are happening at once, it's...
All right. So would you assist me in calibrating some of these organs? I'm going to be using tuning forks. Would you assist me from your realm to balance out the energies? Let's start out, first of all, with the brain. And this is the energy center that is going to be sending and transmitting to the rest of the body what it needs to do. So if you would, from your side, begin to clear out any of the debris, any of the blockages, as I strike this tuning fork, and let's calibrate the brain. And as she feels the vibrations of this, give me a mental
Can you do
image.
that again?
Yes.
It was too soft. She's hard-headed. Just kidding.
Give me a mental image of what is happening as we calibrate this.
Well, what's important for her to realize is that there is a part of her, there's implants in place so that she doesn't have the clear cognition that she desperately is seeking.
Yes.
So we have to be careful. We want to open up some, but it's not ready for it all to be opened.
Very good. Very good. So I want you to go ahead and focus on another part of the body that needs adjustment. What would that be?
The throat.
Very good.
Yes, it's not good.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and strike the tuning fork for the throat, and I want you to tell me what's happening.
She has to find a way to communicate to a bigger forum besides one or two people every so often. I mean, that needs to be her latest discipline, that she really puts her information out and outwardly and dynamically. But we can't do it for her. She has to choose it and make it happen.
Yes.
She has to.
Very good. So as the frequencies of the throat chakra emanate, what is happening with the throat?
Maybe again. Part of the problem is she's connected to the collective. So much of that she takes personally is really part of the collective. That's what makes it so monstrous.
Okay, very good. So let's balance out this chakra right now.
Yes.
And as you continue to scan the body, what is the next organ or part of the body that needs clearing?
The heart.
Very good. So I'm going to strike the tuning fork for that.
She doesn't have to forgive others. She just has to forgive herself. The list is too long for the others.
Yes. And this will be a process.
Yes.
Very good. I want you to
I mean, she really has to understand the extraordinariness of the journey. How many people understand the astronaut that's in space alone, doing whatever they are doing for the benefit of all?
Yes.
It's a huge sacrifice. She needs to be aware of that and honor that and love herself for it, even if she doesn't like it.
Yes, very good. Keep scanning the body. Notice the organs. Look at the liver.
Yeah, the liver looks like it's very clogged.
All right, so as I strike the tuning fork, I want you to go ahead and just amplify it so it could begin to clear.
Part of her clearing the liver would be finding ways to express her anger. She has a lot of it, and it's very duly justified. She doesn't like doing that.
Let's begin clearing that anger out, flushing it out.
Yeah. See, if she expresses the anger, the throat, then the liver will clear. It's connected. It's all connected.
Very good. And let's take a look now at the stomach and seeing how the stomach is reacting as we're flushing all of this out there. Vibrating the stomach now.
Stomach is like corded to the heart and corded to her cervix.
Yes. Let's release some of that tension there.
Yes.
And as we continue down through the digestive system, I want you to notice what's happening now with the other parts, her colon. What's keeping her colon from
we've spoken to her about this. She has to take an intense parasite removal protocol.
Yes.
Some of the parasites are galactic, some of them are localized, but she has taken on too many parasites and they are paralyzing the bowel.
All right, very good. So let's start with this, and in the future she could come see me for some therapy with parasites. Is that okay?
Oh, yes.
Let's get that colon moving.
Very sluggish.
Yes. And as the colon begins to receive the proper vibration for this organ, I want you to look at the rest of the body and tell me what's going on there.
Her spleen is completely bound. Spleen, pancreas.
All right, very good. So I'm going to strike the tuning fork for the pancreas. And let's get that moving.
I mean, spleen, not enough blood. because she's giving her blood to everybody and everything.
Wonderful. Notice what's happening there.
Maybe again, please. More sweetness in her life.
Very good. Very good. And do the scan and see how this body is feeling now.
Some type of entity, I think, in the left knee.
All right.
Failure to step forward in her life.
Yes. Very good. So let me speak with that entity now. I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to number 3, let me speak with you. 1, 2, and 3. Bringing it up, 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 up. Male or female?
Male.
Male. What is your name, please? Yes, what was the last thing that you were called? Yes, what may I call you?
Kerchik.
Kerchik, very good. Kerchik, what year is this for you?
No years.
No years, very good. So Kerchik, tell me, what was the last thing that happened to you when you had a body?
I was on a spaceship.
Yes.
And it blew up.
Okay.
And I didn't know what to do.
Yes.
So I grabbed onto her knee.
Yes.
But I'm not just on her knee.
Where are you?
I'm in her cheekbone. In her neck.
Yes.
In her shoulder.
Yes.
I've been here a long time.
Have you been here in different lifetimes with her? Or just this one?
She hasn't been a human that much.
Yes. So, Cherkik, I want you to notice where she was when you grabbed onto her.
She was the captain of a ship that blew up.
Yes. Were you on that
And
ship?
she felt, yes, I was.
Yes. Did you know each other?
Such a good person. She's such a good person.
Yes.
She said to me, hold on, I'll save you.
Ah. And you did.
Yeah, I did.
But you see, Kerchik, she couldn't save you, could she? You needed to save yourself. You needed to go to the light. How have you been influencing her this whole time?
Well, there's a lot of light that runs through her body, and then I get unstuck, so I have to grab on and wrap myself.
Yes.
Like I have to hold on tighter. It's not easy.
So how do you affect her physically?
Taking over the whole left side of her body.
Ah.
But I'm holding on. She said I could hold on.
What about her hands? Do you do anything to her hands?
Ooh. No. Somebody else is doing that.
Okay, somebody's on the hands. Okay. So, Kerchik, do you think it's time for you to finally go home?
What if no one's there waiting for me?
Would you like to find out?
Well, but I like her. She's very nice to me.
Yes, I know that. But you know, when I was a little girl and it was time for me to go to school, I didn't want to leave my family because I didn't know if there was going to be anybody there for me.
Oh, but she doesn't have any family. I'm her family.
Yeah, I know. But this is my situation. I didn't want to go to school because I didn't think anybody was there going to care for me.
Oh.
But I had to go, and I realized I had a very nice teacher, and there were other children there. And you see, Kerchik, you're not alone.
You were lucky.
Mm-hmm. I was. Would you like to see how lucky you are?
Well, I'm lucky I have her.
Mm-hmm.
She's maybe not lucky.
Well, let's find out. Would you like me to help you?
Will it make her life better?
Let's find out. 1, 2, and 3. Switch. Carrie, are you ready to let go of Kerchik?
Yes.
Are you willing to let go?
I'm sorry, Kerchik.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working out well for the two of us here.
Yes, yes. Can you forgive him for not understanding that holding on didn't mean holding on to this lifetime?
It wasn't his fault. I told him to hold on. I just forgot.
Yeah, so...
I forgot.
So what do you tell him now?
Kerchik, it's time to go home.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more fun places to be outside of this body. Trust me.
Very good. Switch. Kerchik, are you ready for me to assist you with this?
Do you promise?
I promise. That's why I'm here today.
I'm in a lot of places.
All right. So, Kerchik, I want you to first focus on yourself. And I want you to notice that little spark of light that's within you.
When did that happen?
It just happened now. I'm helping you.
Oh.
So, Kerchik, make that light much bigger. Use your mind to expand that light. And tell me what happens as that light gets bigger.
Oh, so I don't have to worry about her light because I have my own.
Exactly. What's coming through that light, Kerchik?
I'm blue.
You're blue.
Blue light.
Very good. So expand that light even more. Make it as big as a star. What happens?
I have to let go of some parts.
Very
I need
good.
a minute.
Very good. So go ahead and begin to let go.
And the eye, too.
Yes. Let go of all of those things. You don't need to hold on. You don't need an anchor when you're ready to set sail, do you?
Let go.
Yes. And Carrie, I want you to go ahead and begin to release it. You could use your hands and begin to pull that energy from all those places.
It's not his fault, though.
Yes. So, Kerchik, I want you to see within that light if there's anybody there waiting for you. Who's there with you? Who's in that light?
Oh, my mom and dad.
What do they say to you?
They don't use words.
What feeling do you get from them when you see them?
Yay!
Very good. So, are you ready now to finally go home?
Yes.
Very good. Let go Let go of her energy, and may the light of the universe always accompany you, Kerchik. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kerchik.
Very good. Carrie, close down that portal now, and let's focus on those hands. And I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to number 3, let me speak with the energy in your hands. 1, 2, and 3. You there?
No.
No. Oh, boy.
No.
What a strong reaction. What may I call you?
No.
No? Okay. No? How long have you been there with Carrie?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. You seem very angry, no?
Mm-mm.
You seem very angry. What's made you so angry? What's made you so angry that you feel numb? You make her feel numb. What have you been blocking? You can talk to me. What's happened to you?
I'm not a bad guy.
I know that.
You thought I was a bad guy.
No, you said no. I was just talking to you.
Yeah, okay.
You know what they say about assumptions, right?
Okay.
I just said you were angry. What made you so angry?
I did that because I've had a job.
Oh, okay. What kind of job do you have?
Well, I had to give her hands when she didn't have any.
How old was she then? Was it in this lifetime or a different lifetime?
Different.
A different one. What happened to her hands?
She made people angry and they chopped her hands off.
Oh, I see.
But she needed hands.
Yes.
So she could bring healing, do healing.
Yes. So who were you to be able to help her? Were you a healer?
No.
What did you do for her?
I'm like kind of like a robot.
Oh, I see.
Like prosthetics.
Yes.
So I'm like prosthetic hands.
Okay. But I still don't understand. If you were kind of like a robot, why were you so angry?
I didn't want you to know.
Oh, I see. And now that I know, is that such a bad thing?
Well, you found me out.
Yes. Yes, I did.
What you weren't supposed to see.
Okay. So does that mean that you feel that you don't have a job anymore?
No, my job is to be her hands.
Okay. But you see, this was in a different lifetime. And you took your job a little bit too enthusiastically, and you came into this one too. Do you realize that you should have stayed with that lifetime and not this one?
But she needed hands. What would she do?
Well, when she was little and she was growing in her mother's womb, she created her own little hands again.
Oh.
She did that. That's what happens when you're born into this life. You create a whole new body with new limbs.
So if I leave, she'll get new hands again?
She has her hands. You've just been taking over her hands without her knowing it.
Oh.
You want to try and see how she could use her hands?
But then she won't need me anymore.
Well, somebody else can need you. Where did you come from?
Alpha Centauri.
Okay. So let's find out something. Let's take a little trip. Would you like to go with me on this trip and find out?
Someone made me into her hands.
Ah, okay. Let's find who made you into her hands. I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and let's go to Alpha Centauri. 1, 2, and 3. What's happening there?
My name is Girk.
Yes.
The Draconians cut off her hands.
Ah, okay.
So we made her hands to use.
And did these hands have any type of power?
That's why they cut off her hands. Her hands had power.
I see, I see. And where are those hands now? The ones they cut off?
I don't know.
So, Girk, can you do something for me? Since you are energy, you could find those hands. So, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to number 3, that should give you enough time as energy to find her hands. Let's do that, right? 1, 2, and 3. Where are those hands? What have they done with them?
In a draconian vault. They're in a safe place in the vault. She can't have her hands back.
Okay. But I bet she can. You want to help me, Girk?
Can I help you?
Absolutely. Your energy, your robot, you can get into that safe. would you do that and retrieve her hands for me?
You'll make sure no one's looking?
All right, let's put a shield around you. I'm going to go ahead and strike a tuning fork. And this tuning fork is going to be very, very high energy. And as you go, we're going to put this shield on you now. Go get her hands.
Okay, be right back.
Tell me what's happening. Yes.
There's a lot of security here.
Shield yourself in this vibration.
Okay. Okay, I found them. Got them.
Very good. Bring them back.
You got me?
Yes, sure do. You're in a net of protection.
Okay.
Go ahead and fasten them onto her hands.
Okay, I can do that.
Very good. Wonderful job, Girk. How does that feel?
Hopefully better.
Very good. So, Girk, now you can actually go back to Alpha Centauri and you can just do whatever you please.
Can I bring her?
Oh, she's going to come at a different time, maybe when she sleeps. Is that okay with you?
Oh, okay.
She could visit you there. Are you ready to leave now?
Okay.
All right.
I'll take my hands back. Somebody else could use them.
Very good. Ah, very good. So may the light of the universe always accompany you. And as you go back to Alpha Centauri, I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
And with that now, I want you to just scan your body and see how this body is feeling now. Yeah.
Very wounded.
Yes, very wounded. Very good. So when we're finished with that, let's use the Sacrum Chakra and let's open up all of that energy center so she can get all of that energy flowing again. And I'd like to ask for her guides, for her higher self, to let's bring back that life force in there so that she can once again begin to use that center.
Three times.
Very good. And one more. Yes, expanding it out. Very good. And with that now, I want you to let me know if everything is good for this session. Is there anything else that she needs to know before we finish off?
Thank you, Gert.
Very good.
She needs to know that this is not part of the story that she was looking forward to. And she knows that this is part of the story that she's not staying in.
Yes.
And she just needs to know it. That's it. No proof, no nothing. This is the part of the story that nobody likes, that is complaining, or excuse me, saying, when's it going to end, when's it going to end, when's it going to end, including her. So this is the time, and by the end of this year, what she's experiencing will look completely different than what she's experiencing now.
Very good. Very good.
She needs to be more gentle and then have faith.
Wonderful.
Faith and trust the process and trust in herself that she's orchestrated this. She's a high-level being. She's one of very many few, no matter what she thinks to herself, and that things are going on interdimensionally that are very extreme, and she's part of it and can understand bits and pieces of it.
Very good. And who is it that I am speaking with today?
Creator.
Creator. Very good. So, is there any message that you have for me or for anyone else before we finish?
Alba, you're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
A very, very, very good job.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your wisdom to the world and listening even if when you don't want to.
Very good. Anything else?
Thank you for being an example to her. The world hasn't seen nothing yet. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
The world, what they are seeing, they haven't seen anything yet. This is the end game for a long, long, long journey. And the other side is going to be beyond magnificent.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And don't be afraid when souls are lost. Not everybody comes to this next chapter.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Is there anything else? Or are we complete?
She's doing a great job too.
Good. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to finish off this.
And
Yes?
if she had any recognition for how loved she was, that talk about laughing. It's so ironic. The depth of the love that beings feel for her, I feel for her, the magnitude of it,
Yes.
in no way, shape, or form is it expressed in her reality right now. And even if she doesn't believe it, it's the truth.
Wonderful.
Just like you said, perfectly. Be it. Just be it and get the joy of being it.
Wonderful.
The rest will come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And with that, I'm going to finish off with a tuning fork, which is for the crystalline body, the crystal tuning fork. And with that, I'd like to thank all of those that assisted with this session today. And begin to breathe in this vibration, bringing it into every organ, every muscle, every bone, every cell of your body. Feeling the crystalline body beginning to recognize the vibration, knowing it's going into a different frequency now. And as I count from 1 to 5, you'll be waking up more and more. And when I get to number 5, you'll wake up with complete control of your mind and your body, very happy about this experience.
Nice.
5, wide awake, completely alert, feeling wonderful all over. Welcome back. God.
Thank you. Who knew I had a friend named Girk?
Who would go into the vault to get your hands back?
That was amazing, actually. There was a lot of stuff in there. It reminded me of the Little Mermaid with the vault of all her things.
Go ahead and move your hands now. Put them together. Feel the energy from them. See what happens now.
Feels good. Please.
All right. Carrie. Woo. That was some session.
I don't know what to say.
How do you feel?
Hopeful. I mean, I think that's the key, is hopeful.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the end of the year.
Now, you've had sessions with me before. So tell everybody your experiences and how it felt, you know.
Yeah, so I am one of the blessed. That this is my third experience here, and I'm in paradise. If anyone gets the opportunity to come here,
Yeah.
I don't think that they're ever going to be the same. The magnificence here, and I do want to say, in my session, I mean, there was a lot of blurred imaging,
Yeah.
but the imaging that was so profound was the imaging of the trees and the images of being human and just this merging of feeling poisoned,
Yeah.
and then just the power of nature, and I guess maybe even the power of my inner nature and all our inner natures, that we are strong.
Yeah.
But this is paradise. It's like a place that you can't even imagine. And
I'm located in Micanopy, Florida, which is in north central Florida. You drove 2 hours to get here.
yes, I am very lucky that I have been 2 hours away from Alba.
Twice.
3 times.
3 times, that's
Because
right.
2 hours away from Miami, and now 2 hours because
Yeah.
now I'm more local.
So each experience has been totally different.
Totally different, but the experience, I guess, that always comes back home to me is that more self-love. It's really less about our stories. I mean, even though, I had an experience of a painful part of my story, which is very significant, but it's less about our stories and more about, like you said, about how you respond to them.
Yeah.
And, that it really goes back to self-love.
It is. So is there any particular work that you do that you offer to people?
So I am like a transpersonal life coach. So I'm basically the person that you come to put all the pieces together of your life, to even really recognize that there is a puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very passionate about relationships and divine partnerships that feel nothing but that. So I'm really passionate about relationships of all kinds. Parent, child, romantic, putting ourselves out in the world. So that's my love and my joy, and lights me up, and giving power for the others to do the same.
Yeah. So how do people contact you? Is there
You can contact me on Facebook and Instagram at Care Bear Hero, and so you can contact me there. And then my website's under construction, but it's Peace Love Hero.
Very nice.
And it's tapping into the hero within, obviously starting with me.
Yes. And when we see these sessions, everyone needs to work on themselves. Because you go to a healer doesn't mean that the healer doesn't need healing. And I receive sessions myself. I receive healing myself, even though I'm helping people. So this is a great opportunity to look into Carrie, to see what she does. And hey, always open yourself up to something new. You never know how she can help you. So
yeah, I'm the person that I'm like, I'm a shadow coach, and I go to the places that most people don't want to, including me. But those are the place, it's like panning for gold. Exactly. It's like in the darkest mud in the darkest sky, you see the brightest stars. Stars, no pun intended. Scars and stars. Sorry. But anyway, thank you.
It was wonderful meeting you again here in a different place.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing. This is please find your way here through any I mean, it's just magnificent here.
It's being in this environment is just
you created it.
So different. Of course, we all create our reality. This is what I created.
Oh,
so
God.
come to a in-person session when they come up, and I hope I get to meet you. AlbaWeinman.com, and thank you for watching. It was a long one, but thanks.
I'm so sorry. The other one was long too. I guess I have a lot to say, but thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.